Welcome, folks. This is Brad.
And Ricky.
We are two Texas Jeepers broadcasting to you from North Texas. Grab a drink and follow along as we go on our next adventure. The latest road trip took us out to Indiana for Thanksgiving again. We spent most of the time picking on each other or daring somebody to do something. My dad gets his tractor stuck all the time out on his land, so when we went out in the Jeep, he kept saying, "Your Jeep won't make it," or "You'll get stuck." He's wrong every time, but he keeps doing it.
Between here and the tree that's across it is really steep. I'm sure you wouldn't make it.
That sounds like a challenge.
Maybe I better put my seatbelt on.
Yeah, I told you that. You might fall out.
Don't go making a bunch of ruts in it, though.
I'm not going to make ruts. We do this all the time. We're professionals. Put your seatbelt on. Oh, and then we need to go to off-road pages so we can look at the angle of our dangle is. Okay. That's not even hardly steep.
Wait till we get up here. That's pretty steep. Almost 30 degrees. Now you're cutting up the road.
I am not.
Go up here. If you think you can do it.
What?
You go right up through here.
Well, there's a tree across it.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't sound like you think you can do it.
You've been wanting to go across the tree.
I don't know. That one might get us.
Send me up there and I'll just saw it off.
That's just that's a fast tree.
Please don't hurt me again. Please don't hurt me again.
Oh, we're stuck.
Oh, that was your frame. Speaking of, you remember the first time you went to an off-road park? For us, the gray Jeep was still pretty new when we headed over to Hot Springs, Arkansas. It had been a favorite getaway spot for us, so that off-road park seemed like the place to go. Right away, we learned that Google Maps doesn't work, park maps are hard to read, and trail signs aren't much help. And then there are the obstacles. So many of them just seem impossible. So when one of my buddies picked up a Gladiator, I wanted to help him get his feet wet. Because it's close, we made a run to Northwest OHV, and I was looking for trails that would be hard enough to be challenging. The plan was to inspire confidence but not make him regret going or especially damage anything. What better way to do that than start with a drop-in?
Hi, Brad. I can't even see where I'm going, buddy.
You're lined up perfectly. Just go slow.
Okay.
Go a little bit passenger. You're good. Straighten out.
I'm screaming.
It's just sand. I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
Now go passenger and nice and slow because there is a little bit of a drop in about 2 feet.
Start going driver's side so you can clear that bush.
Oh my gosh.
Well done, you're practically a pro now.
Messed up.
I wanted to start him on that drop-in for a couple of reasons. The first being that he couldn't see how far down it was, so he really couldn't back out of it. I know that sounds mean, but I knew he wouldn't have any trouble going down other than sliding over the sandy edge, and it would be a huge confidence booster. From there, we circled around the flats looking for a suitable climb up, and this one looked like a match.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be bumpy for him. Thing is just to have him crawl.
At this point, we did what guys tend to do. You know, stand around and talk about it for a while. Actually, we wanted to talk through the obstacle and identify the wheel placement we thought would get him through, since these rocks are big enough to get hung up on. That, and he could see what he was getting into this time.
Okay, keep hugging down there until I tell you to cut right. Or cut driver. Now cut. A little
After Mark demonstrated the line we wanted him to follow, it was Mike's turn to give it a shot, and we talked him through how to bump up over an obstacle. At the top, his son ran over to look at it again, and you could tell he was pretty stoked.
We did that?
Pretty impressive, huh?
Yeah.
That's Kate.
From there, we went down to the southwest corner of the park looking for more suitable trails. We stopped at the top of this hill for a few minutes when Chris and his girlfriend came up in a 4Runner. We talked to them for a bit and they seemed pretty cool. Since they were out by themselves, we asked if they'd like to follow us, and they were game.
What do you think, Brad? When I can make it up?
Oh, easy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just have him follow my line.
Alrighty, you want me to wait for you?
No, just come on up. You want to pull up to about there, make sure they have room to come up too?
Yeah.
When we came in, they told us to stay out of the southeast corner. Since they'd been getting a lot of rain lately, all the runoff ends up down there, and even the green trails get swampy. So we followed another trail back up, making a loop that pretty much put us back where we met Chris. So we zipped back across to the east side of the park to run a trail that followed the park fence line. This loop had a few flexi sections, off-camber places to make passengers uncomfortable, and a couple of small washouts, but not enough to cause anyone trouble. The last trail for the day was just south of a main park road running east-west. It was also just above the area we were told to stay out of. The main area of concern was this section here that Mark and I sat and talked about for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you stay right, I think you'll be fine going right up the middle here.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and try that.
Okay.
The option on the left looked like it probably had some deeper mud. I think we would have made it, but we weren't sure Mike would because his smaller tires would make it more likely for his axles or body to get buried. We were pretty sure Chris would need to be winched through because of his street tires. The bypass on the right looked promising. It would have them leaning a bit, but my spidey senses were tingling, so we told them to hold back while we did some recon. The concern with the center option was that with the rut, it looked like you could get pulled into the rocks. I'm not as worried about rock rash, so we went for it. We did end up sliding towards them, and I was thinking they should do the bypass, but once we got closer, we saw some big rocks on the far side of that would have probably caused Mike and Chris some problems.
Yeah, you're fine driver. You're good driver. There you go.
After watching both of these in action, I have to admit that I was impressed. The Gladiator has quite a bit of articulation, and with the mud tires did a pretty good job of getting traction. Not having those aggressive tires on the 4Runner was probably what hurt him the most off-road, but he can probably talk to his girlfriend on the freeway without yelling at her. Everything's a trade-off. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be safe out there and take it easy.